I'm looking at Astarion's Book of Hunger, which contains vampire options and adventures with Astarion. It's only available on digital, but let's dig in. I've not had a chance to look at all, so I really am going in fresh. He's the elf from Baldur's Gate 3, if you didn't know. And actually, I found him kind of annoying, but I came around to him. So if you're thinking of buying this, you probably want the quick details. What's in it? Chapter 1 details the Dampier species. Backgrounds and feats suitable for D&D characters related to vampires. Chapter 2, information about Cazador-Zar's vampire family and stat blocks for creatures tied to vampires or Mephistopheles. Chapter 3 presents examples of adventures that involve Astarion, as well as a map for Rat's Run, an establishment Astarion frequented before the events of Baldur's Gate 3, and also a timeline of the character. So we get a little bit of a letter from him. A lot of you will be looking at the vampiric character options as the reason why you're getting this. So backgrounds. There is the carouser. You spent evenings in taverns, playhouses, parlours, gambling dens, savouring all the city had to offer. Vampire devotee, in service to a small group of vampires layering together. The undead drank your blood more times than you can count. The vampire survivor. You witnessed or survived a vampiric attack. The character species, a Dampier is a kind of vampire, cursed with macabre hunger. So yeah, there might be descendants of a powerful vampire, or you might be just transformed by the vampiric bite. You get your traits, a speed of 35 feet, walk a little bit faster, alright. Dark vision, spider climb, resistant to necrotic damage. Unarmed strike, you do some fangs damage. You drain blood or health points, that's nice. You gain a bonus to the next ability check or attack roll you make within a minute because you've drained the blood, that's nice. You can empower yourself a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. So yeah, getting a bite attack, I do like that. Then you've got a bunch of feats. Tireless Reveler. When an ally spends a heroic inspiration, you gain a heroic inspiration if you don't have one. You have advantage on escaping grappled conditions. When you take necrotic damage, you take a reaction to mitigate the damage, roll some d6s, add them together, reduce the total of damage. Vampire's Plaything. When you finish a long rest, you create a potion of healing or an antitoxin, as long as you have an empty receptacle. You can bonus action, get out of the way. You can communicate telepathically with your vampire master. Okay, feats. Bloodlust. When you regain health, you treat any 1 or 2 as a 3. That's nice. When you hit a bloodied creature, you expend a hit point die and regain hit points equal to that number, plus your constitution. That is a great way to regain health. You can use an action to throw a vial or flask 40 feet. Attacking at long range doesn't impose disadvantage with thrown weapons. You always have fog cloud prepared for nice Batman escapes. Immediately after taking bludgeoning, piercing or slashing, use a reaction to gain resistance to those damages. Lightbringer. Learn the light cantrip. While within sunlight, expend a hit die. Regain hit points again. Sun's healing. Interesting. After you take damage from a melee weapon, you take the bonus action to give the target the charmed condition. If you deal necrotic damage, that creature can be poisoned. When you make a damage roll that deals radiant damage, you can cause a huge or smaller creature to be prone. You always have the charm person spell prepared. You always have spider climb prepared. But when you cast spider climb, you must target yourself without expending a spell slot. That's once a day. Epic boon feats. Immunity to radiant damage. My radiant damage does double damage to undead. That's how our table decided it should be. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, the damage can be radiant if you want. When you hit with radiant damage, you can emit bright light in a 30-foot radius, etc. When you take the attack action, reach for your melee weapon in attacks increases by 10 feet. Take dodge as a bonus action. If you drop to 0 instead, go a 1 health, cast gaseous form with no spell slot. You can fly off. Pretty sweet. This middle section then about the family of vampires, is this more lore then? Fiendish icon, an effigy animated by hellish magic, which can take on many different appearances. Fiendish icon stat block is a construct. Makes 2 slam attacks and a fiery eruption. So yeah, Cassador's Spawn we're looking at here. Can be Fiendish Icon, a Harvester Devil, Contract Loophole. The contract is void if the signatory did this, that and the other. The Harvester Devil, challenge 3. The Speaker Devil, 4-armed devils who discover the secret of creatures, then they compel to perform wicked deeds. The Speaker Devil, challenge 12. And then the Vampire Infernalist. Vampire Infernalist Lairs. Then its stat block is a CR14. That's a long stat block. Vampire Warden, which is challenge 10. So we can just take these for new monster stat blocks. That's good. So there's already a new lot of vampire stats in the monster manual. And then finally, the adventures in Astarion. Are these going to be worthy of me doing a guide on? Adventure for level 3 characters. That is very short. These are like the ones in the Forgotten Realms book then. The most recent vampire spawn in Cassador's family is trying to kill Astarion. At your discretion, Astarion fights alongside the characters. There's just a load of list of who they're fighting. The Wayward Son, adventure for level 12 characters. That's quite the jump. And Rat Run's Tavern and Inn. The managers. Okay, now we've got a 2-story map to the tavern. So yeah, 2 little adventures in a location. And it just describes all the rooms in the location. As you would expect. Some lockbox treasure, wand of fireballs. Watch out for that. That's a big one. And then we're at credits. So that's a rundown of what's in it. I mean, character options are nice. New stat blocks are good. Any sort of adventure ideas are good. That's a win-win, I think. Let me know what you think.